Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Player Pro Show podcast and reviews. I am your host, Player Pro, and alongside me today, I have a guest, good friend of mine named Relaxing Blaze, and also we have a special guest who will be joining us as well, named Sweet Cassie. All right, so without further delay, let's hop right into the show. Well. Your boy's back in the building. If y'all don't know, my name's Player Pro, and I'm the host of the Player Pro Show. And I have a special guest here named Relaxing Blaze, good friend of mine. Okay, Blaze, I tell you what, if you have anything going on that you would like to speak about, hey, now would be the time. Go ahead and put it on out there.
Um, I'm not doing much. I guess you can plug in with me through um my name in the description, my link to Vigo Live. It's the only place I really stream. I do have an IG, Twitter, all the same name. You can plug in with me just on a contact basis. So I do host a show called My Honest Opinion. It's basically a show about men. Our treachery, our wrongdoings, our thought process, everything that we go through emotionally and so forth. On Thursdays at 4 p.m. East. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I be trying to make a lot of the shows. Sometimes I don't make them. I be working or I'm busy or tired or whatever. But sometimes I do pop in here and there.
That money.
But oh yeah. All right, well let's go ahead and hop right into the show. So the way my show works, if for the people who've never been here before or seen it in my videos, I'm gonna play a clip and we're gonna come back and discuss it. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna hop into the first clip and then we're gonna come back and we're going to discuss it. All right, here we go.
How do you control the black man who may be a stronger, smarter, more creative, faster, jumps higher specimen than the man? You take his woman away. You take his queen away. Now his queen don't love him, his queen don't respect him, his queen don't value him. That's how you keep the black man down. That's how you keep them from rising up and becoming great. You break it up. Now you got these sons that are raised by women and are taught that masculinity is wrong. Oh, we don't want to be masculine. So what happens? Now we demasculizing our kids. Now these kids are growing with feminine energy and feminine thoughts. And is that really what we want? Yeah, this shit cool until China come over here and start bombing our asses and everybody walking around like, ooh, it's crazy, they bomb. No, then now all of a sudden you want the masculine man back. How do you?
All right, so did you get all that?
Got it.
So, what do you think?
I think he's on point with what he's saying. If we just talking about the black community, I don't know any other communities, what's going on there. But for us, we've already been watered down to what we are now. Look, prime example. Just like WWE, WWF, Hulk Hogan, that generation, the Attitude Era, Stone Cold, now down to gay wrestlers or soft, weird wrestlers.
Well, you remember they did have one back then. You remember
Gold Dust?
Hey, he was a man when he was Dusty. I think it was
Dusty Rhodes.
No, I think Dusty Rhodes was his daddy. Dustin Rhodes was Gold Dust.
Yeah.
But they had one. Now
it was in there, but now it's a boatload of it. Hey, look, it's the same thing with battle rap. It went from Reed Dollars and trickled down to today. Now there's not no shot at gay people. Now there's gay battle rappers, but it just shows you how they're trying to soften everything. So it's just like chess. You take away the women's, the man's, the king's queen. You took away his strongest power that empowers him. So I'm telling you, it's going to be checkmate if this continues, because that's our primary source is our women. And then once they get them, we pretty much compromise. Now it's up to the women to get together and figure out what they gonna do.
And to be honest, no, I don't know. it's a possibility that they may have already got them. Because remember I've said this before, that we don't have a problem with, we don't have a male problem, we don't have a female problem in this country. We have a culture problem. And as long as things are going the way that they're going, I don't think we're going to be able to stop it. Because you got to look at places like China. China don't play they don't play when it comes to their culture. They don't allow nothing to be played on the internet, nothing to be played on social media, nothing to be that demasculate the men over there. They don't play that. You remember that movie Black Panther 2 when well, let me go back. A lot of our biggest money making places where we make the most money when it comes to movies, we take them overseas to China. We make a boatload of money from over there. But China don't play when it comes to anything that is not straight. That movie Black Panther 2 couldn't send it over there because they had I think it was two women in there kissing or holding hands or something like that. They said no, not having that. That movie, I think it was The Immortals or something like that, with Angelina Jolie. They had a gay couple in there, two dudes, gay couple. Couldn't send it over to China. They don't play that. See, they don't play anything that will destroy their values when it comes to intersexual dynamics between men and women. They don't play that. We are the only country, because there are some countries you go to that stuff is illegal. They don't play that. I mean, they don't play that. Some places you will be stoned.
They discipline, like in here in America, discipline almost comes off as punishment, or like we're trying to bully women, or like we're trying to install some type of force over them. Discipline is needed, like to discipline women to keep them in a disciplined manner, because they would want us disciplined, so we would have to discipline them, or if they could discipline themselves, vice versa, whatever. But they don't believe in discipline over here. It's a free country. We can stay, do whatever we want. It's just like in Russia. I think a woman yelled at a car dealership man from America. There's a woman from America yelled at a Russian man or something, and she went to jail for like 2 years. Like, you need some discipline. You can't go acting how y'all act everywhere else. But yeah, they running wild right now, and my honest opinion, man, get you somebody was born in the early 90s or the 80s and back. Like, anything new and up.
I say further back. I mean, because I've always asked people, I'm like, do y'all think that as a society right now, are we better off today, or were we better off 100 years ago? And I have mixed answers, but most of the time I hear the men will say we were better off back then because they're more logical. But I have majority of the women will say we're better off now because they have more freedoms. Even though I really don't believe that, because outside of not working, outside of not working, how were they oppressed back then? What did they not have outside of not working and not voting?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they couldn't speak without, or they couldn't, I don't know, they couldn't do certain things to where they feel like today is the better time. And if it is for you, by all means. But when stuff starts hitting the fan, as far as like a purge or something serious, where's your line of defense? Where's your line of protection? Where's your community build? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I let women be women. They do what they want. I mean, it's my job to do what I got to do, and either they gonna lead, or either they gonna follow or get on the same page, or they just not.
And I said that before. Funny you should mention purge. I say, you know what will because I hear so many women talk about, oh, we don't need men for this, we don't need men for that, blah blah blah. We can do it all ourselves. I'm like, you know what it's gonna take? Let something like the purge actually happen, where for 12 hours everything is legal, from grape to SA to deletion. All of this stuff is legal for 12 hours. Then they're gonna really see how valuable a man is.
Yeah.
I mean, because at this point, it seems like feminism have taught them that we're not valuable. That we're pretty much all we're good for is a penis and a wallet. Outside of that, what else do we see that we're good for? But like the video said, once you separate us from the women, put that divide in between us, it's a wrap. Because we were at our best. I would say before 1965, we were married at a rate of 85% higher than any other race of people. We were black people. We survived through we survived together through racism, Jim Crow, segregation, all of that stuff, and we did it together.
Yeah.
But once they stuck that divide in between us, see, they couldn't split us. But they devised a way to get to us, and the way they did that is through the women. Because
I think she has something to say in the queue. She said, "I don't agree that we do have more freedoms than we did before, really, other than freedom of speech."
Where you see that? Where you see that at?
It's in the chat.
I
don't know if you can see it under. I can see it. But to elaborate on what she said, she think the only thing that they have is freedom of speech. And then she said women are led to believe they have more freedoms than before, when it really is just a figment of their imagination.
You know what? I actually believe that. That is actually true. Okay, because to be honest, it ain't that they don't have freedoms, because if you really look, like I said, if you really look back at it, they had, outside of not working, even though in our community, our women always worked. Like even during slavery time, they worked. They was in the houses, and a lot of times they worked out in the fields alongside us. And when outside of slavery, they also fold clothes, they wash clothes, they cook for people, they took care of children, and they had they did all types of jobs. They didn't have official jobs like the men, like in the factories and so on and so on, but they did work. They have worked all through history. Women have worked. So we can scratch that off about women not being able to work outside of selective services. Being able to vote, because being able to vote came with having to sign up for selective services. Being able to be drafted, you had to sign up for that, and that came with being able to vote. So outside of that, what did they not have that we had? That's what I want to know. I'm curious to know that.
I would more so let a woman answer that, but because I can't speak from where they at, but she's saying more, but it's a lot to read.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to ask Cassie if she want to come up.
Can you come up? She said
I can bring her up.
She said, "Let me up."
Hey, you guys.
Cassie.
No. Okay, so what I was saying is, hold on, there's a shine. What I think is that right now, women are convinced and being led to believe by every leader out there, like of the United States, that we have more freedoms than we ever had before. And they're running with this mentality like they don't need men because of this, like I said before on your last show, because of the stuff they watch, the stuff they feed their brains, and the choices they're making today. And they're now they're in a mindset that was fed to them. It's like they're hypnotized into believing that this stuff actually happened. When you do your research and you look, previously in history over time, women have always worked. They've always been paid and had benefits, just in a different way. They just don't look at it like that. They had benefits to staying at home and raising children and working from the home, while their husband worked outside of the home or whatever and made more money than her and
Right.
took care of her and the children, right? So
Mhm.
they had less to worry about, in my opinion. And that is coming from a woman who's done both. I stayed at home and didn't work and raised kids for 7 years, 6 of them. And then before that, I was always in the workforce. I worked 2 jobs, I managed, I worked in a pharmacy. Like, I've done so many things. And out of everything, I will say we have more freedoms when we have a man with us, taking care of us or helping us with things. Not necessarily taking care of us, but helping us with things. Or
Mhm.
even more people involved, helping with
Mhm.
everything, finances and everything. And so these women are believing that they have more freedoms, but then why are they not getting paid as much as men? Why are they
Yeah,
still uh,
that's the problem.
in not being hired for certain positions? Because it takes a
Yeah,
man to really do those. And I'm going to say that. I'm sorry for the women that are going to hate on me right now, but I truly am a woman who believes that men should be president. I don't think we should have a woman president. I personally don't think so, just because of their emotions. No, I'm
Mhm.
serious. I agree with
I
that.
got.
I think
I
that
agree.
Mhm.
they
Oh, I
they
agree
they
too.
can be a helper to you, not the top leader though. The main leader needs to be male, because he has to be dominant. And we talked about in the leadership meeting, the discussion today, they have to be able to have that to pack a punch and know when to roar like a lion too. And women are often too soft for that. They're more likely to back off than go head on, even though they play like they're going to go head on here and they run their mouths like that. It ain't real for the most part.
Mhm.
They
I mean,
pack a punch with
Yeah,
their mouth, you know. So at
Mhm.
the
yeah,
end
they
of the
do.
day, I think that they are just convinced that they have more freedoms than they ever did. And I think back in the day, they probably had it a lot easier than they'll admit to. And so
Yeah.
it's great. And I think it's great that they are doing all these things and they feel like they can do more. But again, look, have we had a woman president yet? We might have had a woman vice president, but what did she do? Not, I'm going to shut up now. And then, and, and even then, there obviously was some emotional decisions there if she was involved, okay?
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
everybody knows that by the way that the shit has been run lately. So
Mhm.
let's talk about that. What do
I,
you guys think? Do you think they have more freedoms or not? I know Blaze don't want to speak on it because he's not a woman, but
nah,
Oh,
I
you know,
mean,
I
I can
speak on
answer.
it.
Hold
You
on,
know.
wait.
from your
I'll speak on.
perspective, from a
I
man's
just rather,
perspective,
right. I'd
what
rather a
do you guys
woman
think?
say what she has to say, and then I can elaborate. But it seems like to me it's a competition. Like they want to level with us or be somewhat up to what do what we want to do, but we don't look at women and be like, I want to do what a woman want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like a sense of competition for some reason. I need to be making more than you, and when I make more than you, now I can tell you what to do. Now you can't control what I do, and it's a level of competition some
That's
of
why I
some
didn't
magnitude that I
understand
don't
that one
understand.
dude that wanted to compete with me, that liked me. I'm like, why are you trying to compete with me? Like you should be competing with the other dudes on here. Why am I your
If
competition?
anything, right?
You know what? Um.
Like, I
Uh.
never tried to compete with with nobody. That's the thing.
Mhm.
Like, and you're telling me
Yeah,
males don't feel like competing with females, like females feel like competing with men these days,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
I'm
we don't.
finding it in both arenas.
But you got to real masculine men don't compete with women. Okay, I mean, because there's
Right.
really no
Okay, there
need.
we go. There we
Okay,
go.
real masculine men don't compete with women. I mean,
I
like I
guess
said,
we found our
there's really
answer.
really no need, because you got to look at most of the major industries in the world are ran by men. We don't have to compete for women with that. When it comes to sports, I mean, all of the most popular sports are led by men. We don't have to
Hmm.
compete in these things. Um, all the things that are led by women, a lot of times men don't really not no masculine men are not in those fields when it comes to like beauty. Anything to do with beauty, 100% female led. I mean, you have men out there, you got male models and so on and so on, but still, women dominate those fields. But when it comes to the things that shape society, men dominate those fields. And
yeah,
make no mistake about it, I am to be. Y'all don't know how y'all gonna feel about this, but I'm actually a feminist. I am 100% a feminist. I believe that women should be women. I am all for women, pro-choice. I ain't gonna, you know what? Let me go back. Because some choices, I don't know.
Out of your mouth. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know exactly about 100% pro-choice, but because a feminist is what they want. They advocate for women, and I advocate for women to be women. I advocate for them to do everything women are supposed to do. I advocate for that. So nowadays, what I've been seeing, who are the real misogynists? I see a lot of these women, I call them the misogynists, and I'm the actual feminist. Because what do they fight against? They fight against femininity. They fight for everything that women stand for. They don't want to do the things that women have to do. They don't want to be feminine. They want to compete with men. They want to try to do everything men do. So anything that is for anything that goes against them being actual feminine, they'll fight you all day long.
I think it's misogyny. Misogyny is like the dislike of contempt for like, or to be against women.
Yes.
I think it's misogynist and misogyny. It's a lot of misogyny.
Well, the feminist
going on.
movement was never meant to be the way it is today. Like I said, the world and the things that are happening right now is perverting everything that we started out with, if you think about it. So even feminism was not meant to be these women trying to overpower men and be better than them and compete with them. It was never about that. It was about women stepping into who they are and coming out and having the ability to be free to really make choices and have some say so in things. But they went too far with it. And now they're trying to just trump all our men, and I don't understand.
So feminism. I mean, this is to be no. Feminism started with white women. Feminism started long years ago. People think it started, when in the late 60s. No, that's when black women entered into feminism. They actually begged to be a part of it. Y'all started feminism years before that. And back then, the white women, they wasn't trying to take over and be equal to men and so on and so on. It was like, okay, y'all got all of this power. We just want a seat at the table. We just want a voice. We just want to be heard. We're not trying to overpower y'all. We don't want to take y'all place. We don't want to be better than y'all and so on and so on. We know we're not equal, but we just want a seat at the table. We just want our voice to be heard. And that's what it was for a lot of years. Y'all fought for that. But then in the late 60s, right in the height of the civil rights movement, the black women came along and wanted to join in on feminism. They actually asked to be a part of it. And once they got into it, they actually branched off into something totally different. They actually went into what you would call radical feminism, to where that's where all this, I don't need no man, I'm strong and independent, and I'm this and I'm that and blah 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 blah. That's where that came from. So a lot of people don't know.
Do you really want to get into that discussion with me, Playa?
Oh, I'm always down. Okay. Who you talking to? I'm always down for that.
So let me stop you for just one sec before I forget, because that's why I always like. Okay, so with that being said, I just want you to also remember what those black women had gone through prior to that. So I have a heart for that too, because I grew up in a community full of black people and Mexican people.
What did they go through?
I'm Hispanic myself. So quit talking about the white women. Y'all starting shit. I know my skin's light, but
can you hear us,
guys? So, the question is, what did they go through? You say you're
So,
empathetic with what
so
they went
what
through.
they went
Mm-hmm.
through, let me finish. What they went through is they went through a period of time where men were not good to them. Men did things and were not in the home like they should have been. And I know what caused that. That was our government, but I'm telling you, they went through a period of time where they had to step up and be the man themselves. And I'm not making excuses, but as a woman who had to step up and be the man and the woman in my life, because I went through hard times, I understand
So what happened
why
to the
black
men?
women are the way they are today.
So
I
what happened to
really
the
do.
men?
They
What
got
what
it.
happened to
They got addicted to things. They had to find jobs other ways, like on the streets, and honestly, that pulled them away from being a family man. I truly believe that.
okay?
They got it, and they didn't have any other choice. So I'm not blaming the men either. I'm just saying that
All
there's a
right.
lot of shit that was caused by our government and why families are broken up today
So
and why
so do you
women
want me to?
and men are like they are today.
So you want me to break that down and tell you exactly what happened?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me from your perspective in your community because you speak from a black person's perspective. So I want to
Okay.
hear what you say.
So like I said, before 1965, we were married at a rate of 85%. Black folks, no problems. We weren't having
Okay.
no issues. Were there domestic violence back then? Of course. Was it running rampant the way our women try to make it seem like it was? No, it was not. Now, hold on, I lost train of thought. Oh yeah. All right. Now we worked, women worked. We were having no problems. No problems. We were doing everything just fine. And then, um, what was the number one way for us men to work? Because we worked out in the and worked outside the home. The women typically worked inside the home. The number one way that the men in this country, not just black men, were factories, steel mills, or they're doing lumber mills, and so on and so on. Big factories. That's where most men worked in this country back in those days. But then you get into the into the 60s, the mid to late 60s, here comes deindustrialization. That's when they took all the big factories and moved them overseas for cheaper labor. So that left a lot of men without work. Now, back in those days, it was harder for us to find work than it was the white men. So
Yes.
so us as men, yes, it was harder for us to find work. So we was back then we was robbing, we was stealing, we was doing all of these things to be able to provide for our families. Not like today where the men do it for sport, the robbing and stealing. Back then we actually was doing it to provide for our families. And the substance abuse that didn't come along to the late 80s. I mean not the late, in the 80s. That's when that was running rampant, not the 60s. So that was no reason. That's not one of the reasons why the women had to go off and do their own thing. So now what happened? This stuff is systematic. It's systematic what happened. Okay, so the men, it was hard for them to find jobs. It was hard on the family, not just on the women. It was hard on the family because the men were still trying to provide the best way they could. And it was hard because it was hard for us to find jobs without those plants being here. So the government steps in and say, hey, ladies, this is what I'll do for you. I will pay for your housing. I'll take care of your children. I'll take care of your bills. I'll take care of your food. I will take care of all of this. But what I want in return, there can be no men present in this household. In order to qualify for these subsidies
Oh yeah, you're
that I'm
right.
offering, well, in order to qualify for these, there can be no men present in the home. This is for women and children only.
Yeah,
no
I
men.
didn't think about that.
Yes. So the women had a choice to make. They could have stayed and stuck it out with us men, and we work together and figure it out. But you got to understand, women are selfish by nature. And that is a fact. Women are selfish by nature. They looked out for themselves instead of the family. So when they accepted this deal, that started a divide in between the families. So now the women were going off on their own and
Hold on a sec. Did you just say women are selfish by nature? Did I hear that right?
Yes, I've said this 1,000 times,
Okay.
which is
Well,
a
I
fact.
will have to tell you, men and women are selfish by nature.
That's not
All
true.
humans are.
That's not true. See, I'll put it to you like this: if you gave
Ah,
most
hell.
men, not all, but if you gave the majority of men $1 million, they'll be looking to see how they can take care of family and children. But if you gave a woman $1 million, not all, but the majority, $1 million, she's gonna be looking to see how she can take care of herself. And that is
I
a
don't know. I
fact.
know a lot of men that get $1 million and waste it on cars and bullshit before they even
Women,
feed their
it
family.
probably be the most of it. The most of that be wasted on women. But
Okay, so now
anyway,
I really want to see a study or a statistic on this. I gotta go look this shit up because I
yeah.
really disagree with you right now. I really
which part?
disagree with you hard
Which
on
part?
that one right now.
Which part? Which part?
Because I think women generally, first thing that they think about is their family, just like a man, right? So generally
What?
speaking, the first thing I'm sorry about the women you dealt with. I'm
No.
sorry. But
Go
on
look
a
at
real
the
note,
go look at the
most
stats.
women who are mothers and wives or girlfriends, they think about their kids and their family first.
No, that's not true because the stats don't
So
support that. There's no
I
stats
want
that
to see
support
this.
that.
I want to
If you look
see
at the
the
divorce
stats.
rate, look at the divorce rate. The divorce rate is 80% women, 90% if they're college educated, 90%. I see women.
That is their fault or their decision,
uh-huh.
you mean?
No,
Okay.
when it comes to the divorce filings, 80%.
Yeah.
80% of divorces is filed by women. 90% if they are college educated. Women, when they're not happy or they just want out, they will when no fault divorce came along, now they can just walk out of a marriage for no reason. And they will destroy a family. When they leave, they destroy the family. They don't care about the home. That's how it was a long time ago. Now, if you go back 100 years, the women actually cared about the family. They wouldn't just destroy just because they wasn't happy. They didn't want to just leave. Plus, you couldn't just leave without having probable cause. Now, today, now that women have the autonomy to make their own decisions and they can walk away whenever they want to, they will destroy that family if they are not happy. Because you got to look at marriage is not about happiness.
When they're not happy, they will go out on you and they'll stay married to you. But they'll stay married to you because they're worried, they want to keep the family, they love you and everything, but they'll just stay married and if they're unhappy, they'll go out on you. So you have women that think about, okay, well, if I'm unhappy, maybe it's better I divorce him instead of staying and trying, maybe they tried for a while or whatever. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, maybe they're thinking I need to divorce him because I want to fuck around on him and it's better that way. Excuse my language. I forgot we're on.
No, you're fine. But see, if you really look at it,
seriously.
You think it's the men that sleep around more? Women sleep around more.
I think the men are the ones that stay married the longest and will put up with the shit the longest and just sleep around on the women.
But see, we understand because we're not selfish. We will stay and take care of that woman, even if.
It is selfish of you to sleep around on your woman. So I'm saying it's actually selfless of the woman to go file for a divorce instead of screwing around on you while you're together, right? So, would you rather that?
No, but see, that's the thing, though. You got to think about what's best for those children. Now, you got to think about what's best for those children.
Yeah.
Women.
That's true.
But you see, a lot of times, infidelity is one of the 5 reasons why divorces occur, but it's not the top. Now, a lot of times, I think the majority of the time was what? Because what did we looked it up that
boredom?
time? I know boredom is definitely in there.
Sex.
It depends on how healthy your relationship is, if it's good for the children that you stay together or not. There's another topic for discussion on how I view it. I really believe that because I've seen people stay together and stick with it when they shouldn't because it's so poisonous and the atmosphere for their children is horrific that it's better that they don't be together. That they for each other experience for the
cutting in and out.
on
Yeah, you're breaking up.
and thinks it's
Yeah, you're breaking
Yeah.
up,
my
Cassie.
now.
You were doing great. What
Okay.
happened?
Okay, so
Nah.
my kids are home from school. That's what happened. They're all on the internet.
Ah, okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, a household. But this is the thing: the majority of men don't cheat. The majority of men don't cheat, believe it or not. Because for
I
No,
don't
I would
believe
even
it.
have to disagree with you on that
I
one.
don't believe it.
because
I
I'm
gotta
gonna
see
put
the
it to you like
stats
this.
on this. Maybe
And-
they
and the
don't
reason-
admit to it.
The reason why I say that
Maybe
because
women are more likely to admit to it.
this is the reason why I say that, because most men, a man is only as faithful as his options, and women. And if you look at the dating app data, no, OkCupid, eHarmony, doing the dating app data, you can actually look this up. It's public knowledge. Women find 80% of men as unattractive. Women only swipe right about 5% of the time. I'll even just be generous and say 10. Men swipe right over 50% of the time. Well over 50%. So women find the majority of men unattractive. So like I said, a man is only as faithful as his options. Most men are not sleeping around with multiple women. Most men are,
With that being said,
Mhm.
most are okay. So that he's only as faithful as his options. So I think that opens up a higher chance of him cheating, because when the opportunity do present itself, oh, it's a go for sure. If
But
I
most
can't
men-
get none like that, I'm going for it.
But see, most men don't have those options. Why do you think that the majority of men would rather just find one woman and stick with her and just go on about their business? It's only a small percentage of men that have the options to be able to go out and sleep with a bunch of women, because sleeping with women is not easy. It may be easy for you, Playboy Blaze, but it's not easy for the majority of men. It is hard. It is easy
I
for
think
women.
you just think it's not easy.
No,
I think that
trust
if
me.
you put yourself out there, you would find out how easy it is.
Oh, I don't have no
Like-
problem. I'm not
Okay,
talking about
so-
me.
So if
no,
you ain't
but-
got no problems, then why are you saying the majority of the men have a hard time with
Yes,
even
'cause it's
sleeping
true.
with a girl?
Okay, so
I don't
how many?
believe you, because there's
what
so many
percentage-
hoes out here. It ain't even funny. I turn on my TV,
You're right.
I turn on my Bigo,
You're right.
and all
Mhm.
I see is hoes.
What percentage of men do you think is sexually active out of 100% of men in this country?
That
What
are
percentage of them do
actually
you?
sexually active.
Yes,
Probably about 70%.
Blaze. What do you think?
Because I do think men actually hold back a little bit more than women when it comes to being sexually active. Because they're scared, like out of fear or whatever it might be, for what the girl, how she's gonna respond or whatever. I think that's a lot of it.
What do you think, Blaze?
The percentage of men that's sexually active in this country.
Yes.
It feels like 90%.
No,
But
So do you mean no, do you mean regularly sexually active, or can
Well,
get some in general?
We can go with that.
That's a hard question.
Just give it a guess. It's just your perspective.
I say about 40 if I had to make a guess. Then I'm being
why
nice saying
that
40.
low?
But
Why
actually
would you
look.
think so low?
But Cassie, look it up. 1 out of
Men
3
are
men.
horny.
Listen. Yes, we we definitely are. But
You're
a lot of us
always
don't have the
hot, so how is it that?
because majority of men just don't have the option to do so. 1 out of 3 men are virgins or have not had sex with a woman in over a year. That's a fact. You can actually look that one up. Make sure you look that up and get back to me. To the 1 out of 3, so you're probably looking at 40% or less of men throughout history. Over 80% of women have reproduced throughout history. And throughout history, only 40% of men have reproduced with women. So, and going off the dating app data as well, because that's the number one way that people meet nowadays is on dating apps. Most women are sleeping.
To have sex anyway.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's never a real date.
The men who can have an abundance, but see, majority of women are sleeping with a small portion of the men. A small portion. Yeah. And the majority of men are not out here sleeping around, because most of them don't have the ability to do so.
Yeah,
that's why
they're all sharing one man, if anything, and that man is getting around.
That one man. I got a video. I'm gonna have to find it, where a young Van Zant, you may not know who she is, but she used to have a show called Fix My Life. Used to be on the television. She got a clip where she got 6 men fathered 87 children with 50 women. 6 men, 87 children by 50 women.
It was hard for me to be with a man who had 6 or 7 kids. I dated a man who had 7 kids, and that was hard because he had like 4 or 5 different baby mamas. That was a trip. And I found that out after I started seeing him. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want the drama.
So
Hell
the men who are able to sleep around like that have an abundance of women, because women only gonna go after what they're attracted to, and the majority of men are not attracted.